So my name is Jarik Monge. I'm a student at Carson Senior High. And as you can see from my quote, it says, "Life is like skating. Whenever you fall, you just have to get back up." And Mr. Klein, if you scroll down, you can see my cover letter, which, as you can see, it shows my interest in attending a college that I would be attending, or attending university, if I do attend any. And in other words, I am mostly interested in just learning more about things like engineering, running a business, or different writing tropes. As well, if they are to read this letter, I would like to. I would just explain a little bit about myself. And Mr. I'll just scroll down a bit. Yeah, that's. And you can see this picture of myself. It's the most recent one I have. And, yep. Alright. So, as you can see, this is my brag sheet. You could also see that I don't have the best GPA. And as well, one college I would just want to go to is just LA Harbor. So I could get my stuff together and actually focus more on what I have to focus on. With everything, and as well for extracurricular, in 9th and 10th grade, I was a part of SRLA. What I would mostly have to do, which was my primary responsibility when I was a part of it, was just make sure I attend each of the practices and ensure that I just don't miss a single day. As well, for 12th grade, I helped start a chess club with some friends of mine. What I would mostly have to do is just keep track of the different members who were a part of it. And for my community service in 12th grade, I did service learning. I was a TA for the counseling office. I would just mostly have to commit to doing office summons and as well as providing assistance whenever possible. And for most of my entire life, I helped out with my father in his own business called Inserti Trucking. And what I would just have to help out in is just the acquisition of sales and as well make sure that he doesn't get a terrible deal out of it. And for my awards and honors of that, for 9th and 10th grade, I just got a medal for participating in the SRLA Beach Con race, and for 10th grade, I got a medal for participating in the Holiday Half Marathon. And 3 words I would generally use to describe myself are to be quiet, persistent, and curious. And as for my careers and personal roles, for short term, are to get my final requirements in high school out of the way. As well, for long term, it is start my own business within the entertainment industry that centers on making live action movies, shows based off of stuff that I used to watch or video games I used to play. And why I would like to attend college or trade school would be because, I would like to attend college for various reasons, such as wanting to get an associate's degree or major in either robotics, business, or even writing. Do my grades in high school reflect my academic ability or potential? No, because the classes I was put in weren't entirely in my expertise as much. And in college, I will be ensuring that I receive the best grades I possibly could get because I will be selecting the classes on my own. And are there any particular circumstances or persons that influenced my preparation or motivation to attend college? Well, one particular group would have to be my family. They motivated me to go to college because they keep telling me that I need to get a degree in order to accomplish my personal goals and aspirations. And if there were any obstacles I faced in my school life, would have to be that my own grades, because whenever I would fail, I just have to make sure I talk to no one, still interact with anyone until I actually raise them up. And as well, here are my most recent transcripts. As you can see, I don't have the best grades. I wasn't really the best student academically, but regardless of all that, I was able to get more than enough credits that I needed to graduate. And so for that, I now just have to focus more on my A through G, which is that I'm missing on, which is English and social science, which currently I am just focusing on that only as well. and also that's my most recent one I was able to get. And as for my 11th grade best work, it would have to be this essay that was about their eyes were watching God. And I would consider this my best work because out of all my classes, English during 11th grade was just the easiest one I could really focus on. And I'm saying this due to the fact that during 11th grade we were stuck inside all day just doing nothing, and it made things more difficult than it was. And in addition to that, it was the only class I actually had a good grade in because of the flexibility of the teacher in terms of grading, as well as the fact that this was my highest score that year, which was due to the reason that we had to talk about how this novel we read about had just related to the Harlem Renaissance, and this book had connected to the Harlem Renaissance, as it was mostly about just breaking from Victorian values and advocating for cultural pluralism and breaking from stereotypes, and as well as connecting to African roots. In addition, this essay helped me realize where I was lacking in my writing skills, which was where and when to break off a paragraph, when to finish off sentences, or as well as when to properly use commas. Now, this is my best work for 12th grade. It's an art project I've recently done for my art teacher. This is considered my best work because of the fact that it was because the fact that I had to expressively draw an eye creatively, or at least just draw to the best of my abilities. It was as well, we were able to design it however we wanted to, which was a plus, as it also taught me to creatively choose, and at least showed my creative freedom at its best light. And here are my 2 letters of recommendation. One is from Mr. Roach. He definitely inspired me to at least keep going in high school. And Mr. Another one is from Miss Vernon. As you can see from what it says, I am not the best student when it comes to doing things academically or working in books, but when it comes to actually critically think, stuff that actually require me to think and take things slow, I would actually achieve best with everything else. Here are my personal insight questions and every person has a creative side, and for me, as to how I expressed it, was just the writing. Since last year, there was really nothing for me to, there was not much for me to do, so I picked up writing as it was primarily the only outlet that I was able to do. And Mr. Khan, if you were to actually scroll down, and as for my greatest talent or skill, I would just have to say, like mentioned previously, it would have to be writing, because it was the only thing I was able to actually excel more in. And an academic subject that inspires me most is English, as I have further this interest inside and or outside the classroom through writing essay assignments for my English classes, as well as writing different types of stories on Google Docs. I even tend to write stories on some random apps I could ever come across. And what I have done to make my school community a better place, well, you see, for what I've done to make it a better place, in the beginning of the pandemic, where we had to stay inside, I would have to, and whenever I would go out, I would have to wear 2 masks. That was at the beginning of it, of course. As of now, everything seems to be more lenient, so I had to make sure that just to step back a bit, just so I won't seem like some crazy person. And here's my resume, and it shows most stuff, shows that I'm going to be graduating within this semester. For extracurricular activities, I just helped organize and take down tobacco event for TPay, volunteered for the Earth Day event for TPay, I volunteered for a Red Ribbon Week for Keystone. I helped with organizing and planning for Fun Fridays to the school year for Keystone as well. I helped out my father in his business name on Saturday trucking through assisting in the acquisition of sales for it. and as well as a service worker for the school's counseling office by dropping off summons to students' classes, and as well as packaging envelopes and sorting report cards alphabetically. For my skills, I'm bilingual in both Spanish and English, and I also know how to use Microsoft Word and PowerPoint. Here are some personal projects of mine. This is a story I've been working on for a while. It shows more about my creative side, as this is about two siblings who went to the same school. One just did better than the other, and it also shows the everyday, how different issues people will come across in their everyday life, and how people handle that differently. And this book is just going to be primarily focused on two different perspectives, one from an introvert and another from an extrovert, handling different social situations. As well, there will be different allegories and maybe metaphors for stuff that happens in that, that would be too, I would say, tough to touch, or at least that people haven't really been focusing on more. There's going to be a metaphor for war, stuff, and all that. And also there's a video of me just attempting something. Pretty much it.
Same question that posed the other two. So why are you ready for what comes next?
I'd have to say I'm ready for what comes next, as throughout my entire high school life, I had to focus more on getting my credits out of the way, as well as focusing on what I needed to get done. Meaning that I would mostly focus on the bare, although it shows that I won't focus on the bare minimum, I will try my best in stuff that I will actually need and will actually want to do, as shown through the examples I provided. As well, with everything else, as to why I'm ready, this entire life through high school, it taught me many things. It taught me how to, well, I wouldn't say it taught me how to properly express myself, but it taught me the fundamentals as to how to actually be a better person than who I was when I actually first started. And for that, I feel like that would be something that I would need crucially to actually move on.
Do we have any questions?